Hello and welcome to the Dominion Daily for July 14th, 2025. We've got a base plus Renaissance Kingdom, but mostly base here, although we do have two projects. Got a 2-5 as well, which looks pretty good on this board. So we've got Century, Moneylender, Remodel, Trashing. We have Draw from Old Witch, Swashbuckler, and Moat. Plus actions is going to be the trickiest part here. There's Barracks and there's Citadel. Those can each give you one additional action per turn. So you start with an extra action from Barracks, and then if you can Citadel a non-terminal card like Sentry, you get another action from that. But that means that terminal space is going to be pretty limited, and then no plus buy just gains from, well, remodel isn't net gains, but it can get you a multi-province turn. And then there's also Bandit and Bureaucrat that can both gain treasures, as well as the treasure chest from Swashbuckler that can gain treasures. I think the ideal case here would be to get the treasures from the treasure chest rather than having to also play with Bandit, since you might want to play with Swashbuckler anyway. Although you could just play with Old Witch Draw, but you can only play so many terminals anyway, as I mentioned. So, consolidating that would be helpful. But yeah, I guess we'll see about that. So, like I said, we've got this 5-2. I think we definitely want to open Sentry. The question is whether we would want a Cellar, I think Moat, even though Moat could block like Old Witch attack or even like Bandit attack, I don't think it's worth getting for that reason, just because the terminal space is so limited. But Cellar does have some synergy with Sentry. The problem is that, right, Cellar is definitely not going to help us hit price points, and while I think we do want to play with Remodel, so I think basically what we're aiming for is to play with a Remodel eventually, maybe not early on, depending on what money we hit, but we want to get a Remodel, we want to get an Old Witch, we do want to give out curses, and then the third terminal is probably Swashbuckler, and then maybe at some point we move from Old Witch to a second Swashbuckler or something, but I think that's basically looking at here. Anyway, we also potentially need to get multiple Sentries to try to line that up with Citadel and make that all work. There is also Sentry Vassal, so we can potentially play with Vassal, but we still need to get like golds to be able to turn into provinces anyway. In any case, so the point being, Remodel early is not that exciting. We can turn estates into vassals, but unless we have multiple Sentries in our deck, that's not actually that good, I don't think. It's okay, but it's not great. So I think even though Cellar can help set up Sentry, I think the answer is no Cellar, at least to start with. Maybe later, but okay, so we've got 4 here. We could go ahead and take a Remodel to try to remodel our remaining 2 estates. Or we could try to take something to help us hit 5, a Silver or a Vassal. The Vassal is definitely like the more high-risk approach for that. Really relies on us getting like a bunch of Sentries to have a deck that's like works consistently that way, which is going to be slow to do. So kind of leaning away from that. Remodel, I think right now I'd probably rather just have the Silver. Okay. Now we can get Old Witch. It is going to be really hard to activate Swashbuckler. That is one thing to consider here, like, because we're just not going to have that much stuff in our deck. So the other thing that we could do instead of going to Old Witch, we could actually consider getting a Bandit. Like, then maybe we don't play with Swashbuckler in that world, and we just go, like, remodel Bandit Old Witch. If we're gonna do that, I mean, we've already trashed 2 estates. Like, we shouldn't have too much trouble hitting 5 again. The thing that we are also going to need to do is hit 6 and hit 8, but I mean, I'm thinking, like, right now, the Old Witch is probably better anyway, so I think we just go with that. Okay, well, this is... Oh, that was lucky. I was going to say, this is reasonably likely to not hit such a high number. I mean, I guess it was guaranteed to hit at least 6, which I didn't actually realize, but... So we can just go ahead and take the barracks here. We don't need it for next turn, though. But we have the money now, and we're going to basically need the bandit before we can get the money later if we trash with Sentry. So I think we click on barracks. All right, well, the good news is that we did hit 5, and that Old Witch is not going to be terminal. Okay, so now we can do Sentry first, trash. This card, this doesn't actually matter, but we can play the Bandit, and then draw up here and take Citadel. Now we need to get a remodel. Oh, we bottom deck the Old Witch. Oh no, we get to double play. That's right. That's how that works. Excellent. All right, yeah, we're gonna want to remodel Silver into another Sentry probably, and then we're probably ready to Province after that. It's because we want, like I said, we want to see a Sentry every turn. Okay, well, we do not get to play the Old Witch this turn unless we discard both of these. That's fine. All right, this order doesn't matter. I do think it's worth taking the time to get 1 additional Sentry. We could buy Province, though. The bot has not yet gained any gold or a gold gainer, so like we're pretty far ahead from that perspective. The other thing we could do is buy 1 more Sentry. We're not going to be able to remodel into it. So, well, I mean, I guess we could remodel a gold, but now might be the time to just take that and really try to lock in our draw isn't exactly the right word, or reliability. Decent chance that we get to trash those last couple coppers here. Oh, we got 1. Discarding this doesn't actually matter, but good anyway. What we would ideally like to do is top deck a Sentry. We can try to do that. if we play the bandit and then the old witch, so we'll draw a gold, and then we have a 1 in 3 chance to bottom deck the sentry. Yeah, we didn't. Alright, so we gotta play this. Okay, so I think we're fine remodeling province to province. We got 2 sentries down there, a province, and copper. We definitely want to see the remodel anyway. I guess what we want to do... Top deck the remodel, because we know we want that anyway. We'll discard the gold. And then... I think we actually do leave this province on top, weirdly enough. Because it just gives us, like... Wait a minute, where is... Oh, it's Century Copper down there. Right, so if we... Oh, there's no... No, there is no way for us to trash the copper. Okay. Well, in that case, we might as well discard the province. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do Manila Province. Yeah, a little unfortunate with the draw there. If we could have trashed the copper, at least cycled it out of the way, maybe we could gain 2 provinces, like, for real. But we're still obviously doing very well here. The bot hasn't bought Barracks or Citadel? I thought at some point I saw it buy something there. That's crazy. I think at this point, we discard the... Oh, we definitely discard the bandit because we want to see the old witch, right? And the remodel. Yeah, okay. Alright, that works. Do we want to leave the gold on top? We do need at least 1 gold to be able to buy province. Yeah, I'll just leave it. Okay, I think we just discard Sentry, draw to the end of the deck, and call it good enough. Yes, okay, fine, you don't take a curse, whatever. Now we can't actually get 2 provinces straight up. Okay, well, I think we'll be alright. The bot had multiple remodels without having barracks? Why? Hey! Get out of here, Copper. Job sentry. Alright. I guess we don't really need to play the bandit, huh? Yeah, so it was actually pretty fast. We got 7 provinces and milled one in 14 turns. Pretty fast, considering. The bot just wasn't doing anything, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we had the 5-2. That's pretty huge, but we didn't open with the cursor. So our 5-2 was not slowing the bot down. So I don't know what it was doing, but not much. It remodeled a lot of stuff like that wasn't starting cards because it took 2 vassals and 2 silvers and ended the game with none of those things in its deck. I think, because I only took the 1 silver. So, yeah, vassal remodel, vassal, sentry, remodel vassal into sentry. Okay, so there goes one of the vassals. Get another sentry. So that's 3 sentries already. Yeah. Which, I mean, I was giving them curses. They didn't end up with very many of them, but like, I mean, I think that was still worthwhile because, like, obviously, Old Witch drawing cards is useful in and of itself, and Sentry is not exactly reliable at dealing with curses. But anyway, it's my turn. Vassal into so at this point they have 4 sentries and no vassals, and then they get a seller. So like the problem at this point is they just have no money, right? Like this, they haven't even gained a silver yet. At this point, they've gained 2 vassals, but then remodeled them both. I don't know how much copper they've trashed, but there's 2 getting trashed right there. There's another one. Okay, so only 3, but still. And then they have to get a silver, but it's turn 8. It's pretty slow. And then they got their... Yeah, I guess they were also a bit unfortunate with their estate trashing. Especially because they had the remodel. Why didn't they just... Surely they had opportunities to remodel these estates, you would think. Yeah, get another silver. So they were just... It just took the bot forever to get anything going, and I think it's partially actually because they over-trashed. And then didn't, pick up anything like a bandit to just try to get some gains going. Like, if they had actually gotten a bandit early enough, that could have actually been somewhat disruptive to what I was doing if they had, been able to trash some of my golds. Because, my deck was pretty lean. Losing a gold would have, at the right time or the wrong time, could have meant that I wasn't able to buy a province or whatever. I mean, they were far enough behind, I don't think it would have really mattered, but, like, you chain enough ifs together and maybe there's something that matters there. But yeah, that was... I do understand the idea of wanting to get a bunch of sentries, but... yeah, like, they just didn't have anything in their deck. And I also think, like I said, like, so Sentry Vassal is like a legitimate... Combo is too strong, but a legitimately strong interaction. But with the gains being so limited, I just don't think... Like, I think they would have been... I mean, they ended up remodeling them anyway, but I think they would have been better off, like, taking silvers there. Maybe playing Vassal is related to why they weren't playing the remodel as often. I don't know. I guess I could probably tell if I really comb through the log and look at what like their starting hand was or whatever, but I'm not going to bother to do that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.